All right, welcome back, everyone, to Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Brandon Elliott, and man, I am super excited today. We got, the myth, the legend, the cold calling expert. Man, you've done over 500 transactions and over 400 million dollars in deals in the last, a few years, I'm guessing.
13, 14 years. I mean, but who's counting anymore these days, right?
Yeah. Mr. Elijah Rubin. How you doing, brother?
Hey, salute to you, Brandon. I'm doing good. I appreciate the opportunity, sir. Appreciate the opportunity locking with all you people here.
Of course, man. I appreciate you coming out and, taking out some of your time out of your day to knock this out and give back some value. I think it's awesome, man. So you have a couple niches yourself, but before we get into those, I do want to, any new listeners out there, if you wouldn't mind kind of explaining a little bit more detail who you are, where you come from, what kind of, what do you do?
Sure. Like you said, my name is Elijah I. Rubin. I'm your guy, Elijah I. No, honestly, I'm 50% Jewish. I'm 50% Trinidadian, 100% entrepreneur, 100% a real estate investor, I was always good at closing. I've been doing sales since I was like 13, 14 years old. And now fast forward, I'm 34 years old now. So I have over 20 years of just real life experiences. I probably got hung up on probably over 10,000 times. I made over 100,000 phone calls, knocked on over 1,000 doors, over 13 years of real estate experiences. And I learned a lot more from my losses and my setbacks than any of my wins. And over the course of time, I just really learned that, yes, doing deals are important, but helping others along the journey, impacting others, helping other people, basically send the elevator down. When you reach certain levels, send the elevator down for the next person. So I'm really big on just providing value, adding back value, and just really kind of share people, and let people know that I'm no superpower, I'm no superhuman, but I can do it, they can do it, and making it very tangible and easy to be done.
Of course, man. Yeah, I love that. I love where your heart's at, constantly trying to give back and, improve other people's situations. That's awesome, man. So let's talk about some deals. So your main focus is wholesaling, correct?
Yeah. So mainly, literally over 13 years, I've done a lot of it. I've done wholesaling. I did door knocking, probate. I've done short sales, loan mods, raise capital. I've done a lot of different things.
Done it all.
And the majority, the primary function of my business at this stage is so I mainly, basically my rule of thumb, I wholesale about 85% of my deals. I flip 10% of them and keep the other 5%. And so that bio is a little outdated. So by now, like 13 years now, like we're close to about 750 deals completed, over $250 million worth of transactions. I did not make $250 million. I did not want any of your viewers asking for a loan. All right, all right. This is say, but I have not made that type of funds. However, I've created that economy around me. I have impact. I've seen investors do very well. I've been able to do very well and help other people too. I've really focused a lot on, my father's a probate attorney, so I do probate deals. I do a lot of city violation, and then one of my main niches that very few people could do. I specialize in fire damage investments, and so those are like the main three. When it comes to single family world, I kind of go out and use the same type of structure. My rule of thumb: if people run from it, I like to run towards it. Because it's easy, and everybody's in the lane. I don't need a bunch of people clogging up the lane, look like LA rush hour traffic.
Yeah.
That Nebraska 3 a.m. nobody's in my lane. Free to myself. That's what I want. Those type of feelings. So I'm segueing, doing the more commercial deals these days, do more land developments, doing some other apartment complex plays. I buy urgency and free and clear. I don't really buy houses and property. I buy urgency and free and clear. Those are like my favorite words. And the more I can do of that, the better I'm going to be able to create wealth for myself, for my family, and for my loved ones around me.
Yeah, man, I love that. So you're definitely targeting, motivated sellers. And I do want to talk about fire damage for a second, because that is something that, just like you said, people typically run away from. So I do want to hear about that. But when it comes down to, so you're located in Phoenix, Arizona?
Yes, sir. Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. Now, I'm guessing that you have well connections when it comes down to like city officials and just knowing the right people, with the amount of work that you've done over there.
Yeah. So I got a couple people who work for the city. I made some good relationships with a lot of the various people in the industry. So it's just a real big. I mean, as you know, real estate it's a relationship business, and the more people you know, the more people you know, more knowledge you know, the more your pockets tend to grow.
That's right. I love that. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so let's talk about some fire damage.
Okay.
What I saw in your bio, I believe there's 3 different ways to know about fire damage.
Yeah, so the reason why fire damage is such an exclusive and ultra profitable niche is a lot of people just kind of overlook them. It's very intimidating. You don't know, you got charred building, you got smoke damage throughout. You don't know what the repairs cost. You don't know how to get certificate of occupancies. You don't know how to even approach the seller. And so there's a lot of different variables that really don't present itself in your traditional real estate wholesale deal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it comes to the real estate side, to the fire damage real estate side of it, well, there's 3 different ways. There's 3 different ways you could generate 3 different checks. So still while helping the homeowner and really be that David versus Goliath, be that citizen's champ, be able to help the underdog win. Because you have to realize insurance companies, they're too big to fail. Most of the insurance companies are too big to fail. All right. So it's usually never the dollar amount that matters to insurance company. Mm-hmm. So because they always can get more checks from the Federal Reserve. However, it's a matter of how long that claim has stayed open. And as long as that claim stays open, that insurance rating can get downgraded over the course of time. Mm. So in a traditional setting, Mr. Smith house might be worth $100,000. Okay. And Mr. Smith house is worth $100,000. Fire happens. Well, they're gonna come out and say, Mr. Smith, yeah, your house is worth $100,000. We're gonna give you $80,000. And out of $80,000, we're gonna take that $80,000 check. We're gonna break it up in 2 checks. So you get your first check, drop about 80% of whatever that policy payout amount is. It's about $60,000 in this scenario. And we're gonna keep that second check, which is called your depreciation. That second check of depreciation is about $20,000, and they keep that second check for depreciation so that you only get that paid out on that. If you repair it, you rebuild it, all your contractor receipts, you're able to call them, and they come out and verify all the repairs are done. Once all the repairs are done, then they go ahead and give you your check that has been finalized. Okay. Well, 35% of most homeowners don't rebuild. Yeah. I mean, you have to realize it. I mean, it's a tough experience. The average homeowner, we ask a question?
Yeah, so I mean, you have to do the work and then show the receipt to be able to get that compensated, or are some of these homeowners actually getting a check up front to redo the work and then they're just running off with the check and then not, delaying the maintenance?
Very good question. And so those are 2 separate checks. So you have your first check where you get 80%. They give that to you up front.
Okay.
You can rebuild. You can start rebuilding if you want to. You can go and blow it. You don't have to do anything. It's your check.
Yeah.
Then you had a second check of that depreciation check. They only pay that to you if you rebuild it.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
They know most homeowners aren't going to rebuild it, and so if they don't have to pay it out, what's that keeps more profit on the cut for the shareholders.
Yeah.
Remember, the fiduciary responsibility is not to you, the policyholder, it's to the shareholders who's raising the capital for that insurance company.
Of course.
So back to the scenario. So Mr. Smith has he has the 2 checks on $80,000 and $20,000, total $80,000. So he takes that. So you have to realize most of these people are shell shocked. They're in a tough situation. They don't know what's going on. So they are going to be living in a hotel or in some temporary housing of some sort. So their number, you have to realize they just want their life to go back to normalcy.
Yeah.
We're real estate investors. We get it. We understand the game. Well, a lot of these people are teachers, doctors, homeowners, homemakers. They don't know contractors or how to get a hold of it. They got work tomorrow. All right, so the pressure, the stress, the world stress doesn't stop. Like, oh, your house caught fire. Okay, we'll hold off on bills for a couple of weeks for you. No, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah,
Still do. So I'm able to approach him and say, hey, Mr. Smith, well, not only can I buy your house for cash, so you don't have to rebuild it, you don't have to worry about it, paying it, because these people are going to put fences around your building.
Yep.
Why would those fences go around the building? They're spending your insurance money. You just don't realize it usually. So your money's already being spent for you. Don't realize it. The board up company's going to come and board up the windows. Somebody has to pay for that. They're not doing that on the house.
Yeah.
So that's all being spent. And homeowners don't realize it. And if they don't do it, then they'll have to do it. And if they don't do it, then the city's going to start giving city violations. So that all gets boarded up. I'm able to approach them. Smith, let me buy the house. And so, Mr. Smith, not only can I help you find a new house, that's one potential check I could generate. I'm going to buy your current house so I can either fix it, flip it, wholesale it, rent it. Then this is where the secret sauce starts coming in. That first check they got, that first check of 80%,
yes.
I'm going to bring my private fiduciary negotiator with me. And he's going to negotiate as a citizen advocate with the insurance company, say, hold on a second. 80% of the time, insurance companies only give you 80% of the money that's owed to you. Yeah. But because you've been paying them month after month, year after year, you just feel like they're your parents. They said go to timeout. You don't ask, you just go to timeout. But that's not the way it works. It's a contract. They have to obligate to the terms of the contract. So he's going to look at what's called your declaration pages. Yep. Be able to see what your insurance policy limits are. Yep. You have code upgrades. You have living expenses. Are there content coverage? There's a lot of different coverages you're able to verify. Then he's going to do this thing called the exactment. The insurance company has the exactment. That tells them exactly what they're deeming as damage, how much they basically allocate for that repairs, and how much do they justify paying you out. Once we're able to see that versus what the coverage is versus what he sees, he's able to quickly see that you're underpaying the client. So he's going to go to him and say, hey, yes, State Farm, I understand you want to pay the client out $80,000. However, if you look at your appraisal, the appraisal might be $110,000 value. However, the cost of build approach might be $150,000. And most homeowners, they don't even know how to look for the appraisal value, let alone cost of build approach, or how does that play into the negotiation. Yeah. They don't even know any of that stuff.
Of course.
So you're able to say, like, hey, my public justice is going to say, hold on a second, you owe my client not $80,000, you owe him another $60,000. And so we put out the $60,000. And if you don't pay us the $60,000, this is how we justify it. Here's the averages. This is what you shorted them. This is what the average is. This is how we come to our cost. If you don't go ahead and pay them out on this, we're going to litigate this. And remember, like you said, only 1 of 5 family members even uses a claim adjuster. Yeah. So they're like, they'd rather just pay it out and make it up on other poor suckers who aren't even going to question them. So that extra $60,000 that gets paid out. So they keep 100% of the first check. So they already made $60,000 on the first check. We're going to go ahead and get him additional $60,000. Well, my claim adjuster, he keeps 50% of any new money he finds. Any new money he finds, he keeps 50% of it. They get 50% more money than they didn't think was coming to him to begin with. And I keep 50% of what he captures. Okay. So the client is able to make an extra $30,000. We're able to split $15,000 apiece. Win-win. Now, another check involved. Remember we talked about that depreciation check, that second check. Yep. Well, if they sold the house and they're really not going to do anything with that depreciation check, so they're going to usually walk away from that. Well, this walk away from money is pretty anti-Semitic to me. All right, so we're not just walk away from money. All right, so like my yarmulke tilts, and you put the yarmulke back on. So I make sure that I'm able to keep. I want to be able to take his. So we have him assign that to us as part of the deal. We have him assign it along with the contract, that claim to us, where we're going to rebuild it anyways. We're going to restore it anyways. We're able to show contractor receipts and everything for it. We give them 10% of the net profits 3 to 9 months down the road once it's all done. Okay. So, and remember, if the first check is off, the second check is off. So my claim adjuster is able to go back and readjust the first claim. He's going to be able to do the second claim too. So let's recap what just happened. I love it. I'm able to help Mr. Smith find another house, one check. I'm able to help Mr. Smith get a higher first initial insurance claim because they shorted him on what's called a supplemental claim review, second check. I'm going to have Mr. Smith assign that depreciation check to me. I'm going to give him 10% down the road, third check, and I'm going to buy the house, wholesale it, flip it, fourth check. all while I'm helping the client get more, deal with less hassle, make more money without any of the heartache or heartburn to it. That's the ultimate win-win. 4 checks on 1 property. I'm making rich area money in the hood with these properties. Because I saw this, I'm like, perfect.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's really leveraging, you know, one deal to the extreme. That's awesome. I love it.
Oh, dreidel, you gotta dreidel the deal.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, when I first, you know, when I saw you originally on social media, and in the beginning of this conversation, I introduced you as, you know, the cold calling expert. You know, that's exactly how I see you when I see you on social media, because you're consistently on it, you know, just being persistent every night, just killing it.
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't mind just giving a little bit of background and detail into that category, you know, what are you doing?
Sure. Absolutely. Like I said, I probably worked at, my first sales position was probably when I was 5 years old. Okay. My sister used to take like little rocks in front of my mom's house. And my mom and dad's house would take like these little Riverstone rocks. We'll go up and we'll take my mom's nail polish and paint the rocks with the nail polish. And my sister would have me go and knock on the doors. I'm a little 5-year-old kid, big old curls, big old eyes. And so I'm knocking on the doors like, hey, $1 a rock. So I'm selling these rocks, and I'm learning how to sell, how to read body language, how to ask for the clothes at 5. Yeah. And so I didn't realize negotiation, the master negotiation, because my sister kept the money and paid me in candy. All right, so I had to learn how to do a little bit more managing the books and learn how QuickBooks work, right? Yeah. So I realized I was good at talking with people. I was good at closing people. And every time so I worked at literally every call center probably in Arizona at some point in time. I worked at all the call centers. Every place I ever go to, I'll immediately accelerate. I'll immediately become one of the all-stars sales reps there, because I understand human dynamics. I knew it was a dance. I say something, you say something. I get some feedback, I get feedback. I listen more than I talk. I diagnose and I solve. And so these are skill sets I started creating and evolving. But then I realized that, like, you know what? Yeah, I was making a couple of dollars, but I wasn't able, I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't in the mix. And so I wasn't being able to hook up with girls. So I started doing club and concert promotions. Okay. So I started doing club and concert promotion because I wanted to be able to have this access and be able to hook up with more girls. And so although the thought process made sense, the execution wasn't that great. Because although, yes, you got the VIP stuff, it's Arizona. This ain't Chicago, and San Diego, ain't LA, Atlanta. It's Arizona. So because it's Arizona, it's not a major market. So I wasn't making any money. So yeah, I got to take a girl out, be able to talk to her, but I couldn't take her out to dinner. I was so broke. So I realized that I was good, but I learned human dynamics. I learned how to give people the VIP feel, the 90-10, 90% you, 10% me. Being able to, what other relationships can I take care of your relationships so that they say thank you to you for hooking them up. So the little things I learned to create that human leverage, create those human dynamics, build out what I call human equity. Then fast forward to around 21 years old, I started understanding real estate. Every time I hear the word yes, it should be worth X amount of dollars. And I saw that real estate pays out the most out of any profession I've seen legally. All right, so once I saw that, I'm like, oh, perfect. All right, I can do real estate, made my first check. Then I realized that, I was doing door knocking, I was doing in field negotiations, I started making phone calls, but then once I realized I could touch more people and bring back my old skill sets on the phone, I could touch more people. It's a numbers game. So been doing that for the last probably decade plus. And probably about a year ago, one of my main acquisition managers, I'm really training him so that he can start making offers, so he can free me up to start doing more commercial deals, so I don't have to touch the single family side. And so as we're calling, he's hearing me negotiating. He's hearing me, like, things I'm saying are like off the wall. It's like, how do you say these things? Like, bro, like, you have a superpower. You have a gift. Like, not only is it educating, it's entertaining, and you're closing deals. It looks like it's fun. I'm like, no, this is what I do. Like, I put some instrumentals on in the background, make sure I do my pre-call affirmation, get the environment right, because I understand that they're gonna sense if my energy is off. They can hear somebody smile through the phone. You can see if they are negative. You can feel it. So I never want that to be filled. Yeah. So I started doing these calls, and he's like, Elijah, please let me just do one of these Facebook Live. Let me do this live so people can see like what I see. I'm telling you, you get a big following. You don't even say what you do. Like a lot of people want this.
Yeah.
All right, man, fine. So I finally do it. And wow, he was right. So I see people like were reaching out to me all over the country, like, whoa, let's make it live. Also, on Monday and Wednesdays at 5:30 Arizona time, I have on my Elijah I. Rubin, my public page, I make these live Facebook calls where I'm doing live negotiation calls. I'm calling live people. I'm getting hung up on, people cursing at me. How dare you give me these low offers? And what's resonating with people is my vulnerability and the fact that I make it okay to be rejected. I put my on blast in front of everybody, show that I don't disintegrate. I'm still here for the next call. I'm able to shrug it off. And so now I created this group called Consistent Closing. And these are because I started seeing that people start reaching out to me, not just for the real estate aspect of it, but for the pure sales ability, the rapport building, the NLP, the compliance checks, the back end tie downs, all these little things I was doing that I just unconsciously just take for granted. I just do.
Yeah.
I started realizing that a lot of people started seeing it in different industries. So I created the Facebook group Consistent Closing, where I'm able to kind of give people community, where I'm able to pour into them, feed into them, give them tips, techniques, do live calls, live recordings, let them see direct interviews I do myself. And it's really been having a really good impact so far.
I love it. Yeah. Just for me personally, just my feedback on it, when I started like recognizing what you're doing and seeing it consistently, that's what really stood out the most to me. The consistency and just, perseverance of just constantly doing it all the time. And I was like, this guy's, he's serious. He's not playing around. Like he's a hustler. He's really into this real estate stuff. So I started checking you out more, and I was like, okay. So, I definitely kudos to you for leading by example and, being a closer, because that's what it comes down to. I feel like a lot of people that either struggle when it comes down to cold calling or doing door knocking, they don't acknowledge that it really comes down to, you got a short time, like 10 seconds or less, to really entertain that other person. And it's really about entertaining, to put on a show, act goofy, act crazy, and get their attention, but brighten up their day to eventually get them to open up, to be able to know, like, and trust you, to feel that comfortability, and then so you can solve their problems. So I think it's awesome.
Yeah, no, Brandon, I think you hit some good elements there, man. Like, because I think what happens is a lot of people, like, what made Michael Jordan so powerful is that not only is like one of the best basketball players ever lived, but not only he put in tremendous work time. I mean, he put in a lot of practice
every day
on the court, putting time in his mental court.
Yeah.
So before he even got on the court, he knew if you double team me, I'm gonna ball step, I'm gonna swing to the left, and then I'm cut. He had every play already thought through, so he already lived it. So by the time he's in game, the muscle memory kicks in. He knows, all right, if the double team comes to this side, what I'm gonna do. If you guard me straight up, this is what I'm gonna do. If you guard me back up, I'll pull up. So he had all these different scenarios in his mind, pre-thought, pre-planned, ready to execute. Right when it came down to it, he was able to execute. That created confidence. Well, what I feel is a big problem is a lot of people don't have confidence to go ahead and knock on the door. Be able, what am I going to say? How am I supposed to entertain him? I'm not even entertaining. What's going to happen? I'm not outgoing. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you want to marry your client. You want to match them. You want to match their tonality, mirror them. So sometimes me talking so quickly, that hurts me. Sometimes I have to slow my speech down. I have to match what they're saying.
Level it out.
You want to level it out, and at the end of the day, you want them to connect. And if you're willing to take the loss, I'm always willing to take the loss up front to gain the win.
Yep.
So it's always going to be my fault. I'm always going to let the client save face. If my phone hung up, if they hung up on me, is it wasn't your phone? Is my phone? I'm sorry. Let me call you right back. I'm sorry. You know what? You weren't running late. I was running behind, saying that 5 minutes at the door. That's my fault. And then I want to let them know, like, hey, you know what? And this is a good one I used to use, especially on the phone back when I started. So here's a little free tip, a little free pro tip for you this year, right? One I used to say, especially when you're on the phone, especially if you don't know what to say at first, similar when you have to, you're already starting some basic rapport building. Hey, your name, how's it going? And like, you know what, Brandon, you know why you're gonna like me so much? Why? Well, it's easy to like people who like you first, right? Right. Well, I already like you, so that means you're gonna like me. See, I already knew I like you already. So let me ask you. Now, see, you did very little talking, but you agreed with it. By you agreeing with it,
Yep.
I already told you it's easy to like people who like you first. And
Exactly.
seeing I already like you, therefore you're gonna like me. So I'm forcing a friendship on you.
Yeah.
I already said I like you.
I never had a choice. Yeah, I love it. That's good.
Just like little things you're able to do. Like when you get into, it's all about building the rapport. People don't care what you know until they know how much you care.
That's right.
Right? And so if you're able to find, so I'm looking at, so when I'm talking on the phone, I'm asking about the weather, I'm asking about what they're doing, I'm asking about sports, I'm finding something to build a common ground on. I need a baseline to build from.
Yeah.
And when I walk in the house, I'm talking about the flooring, I'm talking about the pictures, I'm talking about the car, I'm talking about if they have Christmas lights still out. I want something to build rapport on, has nothing to do with my ass, has nothing to do with my body, and I'm lurking, I'm just looking at any moment, what can I do to add value first? Can I see a referral? Is your back hurting? I got a good masseuse I want to send you to.
Yeah.
Let me use my massage. Let me use my mobile detail guy. Let me get your car cleaned for you. Yeah, babysitter. Hey, when my sister had started her own 24-hour babysitting company, I'm looking for anything I can send a referral, a thoughtful gesture, because that starts a lot of reciprocity, where you feel like, oh damn, he already helped me out. What can I do for this guy? So
Yeah.
at least you can hear me out. At least you can hear me out what my offer is.
So let me ask you, when it comes down to serving that other person and helping them out one way or the other, are you, after like a lead maybe falls through or even maybe possibly works out, are you sending them anything like a gift or anything, or getting them like a card, just be like, hey, a picture of you, something like that, to make
For sure. I mean, it's powerful because you want those referrals. And so there's a little advanced NLP technique I do on the real estate side. So two parts. So first, let me answer your question, and I'll share the technique with you.
Okay.
So what you want to do is, I highly recommend those who don't use it, get with somebody who does, send out cards.
Send out.
I mean, hands down. I mean, yes, a couple more dollars more, but I don't have time to remember everybody's name. I have it in my system. When we close a deal, we send out a card for them, because a picture of the house, a picture of myself saying thank you, remind them you made a good decision, remind them that, hey, I already converted, I paid cash for you, I did exactly what I said I was going to do. And now, what other referrals do you have for me? I'm never too busy for your referrals. Is there anybody else who deserves to have the same experience that you had with me? And so those are things I'm going to be able to do. I'm going to touch those. Even the ones that don't convert, but I had good rapport, even if they sold it to somebody else, the referrals you get outside indirectly is worth it. So that's what I'm able to do.
Yeah, and I think that would really stand out to certain people, hit them in the heart. Even if they go with somebody else, they'll be like, oh, wow, this guy, nobody else did this. So they're naturally going to be, taken back from it, and then feel almost obligated to, give back and help you out.
Something is, and the way, the fact that you want to do that over the course of time, it's going to pay out.
Get your name out, your personal branding too. That's great.
You put your personal branding, you show that, and then if they're able to share and talk about their friends and connect with some other people based off what you send them.
Yeah.
A good technique to do. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask about your lead generation, how you go about that.
Okay. Lead generation, there's a couple different ways.
Yeah.
One, I go, so I have one of my guys who I go to Dominican Republic with, and so there's probably about 5 guys, all younger guys. We all do real estate, make 6 figures across the parts of the country. We meet one place once a year. We build a mastermind. Well, one of the guys there he's like a lead broker. So I get a little heads up because he's selling leads to everybody in the country. So he knows which ones are converting right now in real time market. Now, was that working 2 years ago? So like one good lead source is no sales transfers. So when a deed transfers title, but there's no sales transaction, there's no dollar amount given, that's a quiet inheritance property, or that's a partnership dissolving, or a divorce decree dissolving.
Okay.
So There's a one way that most investors aren't used to searching for to find ways to locate those inherited properties.
What is
So
that
that's like
called?
it's called a no sales transfer.
Okay.
So when title transfers without any cash in consideration for it, why? There's only a couple of reasons why somebody's gonna let me. I'm not gonna let you give me your over encumbered properties. All right, you keep those. All right, but if you inherited a property, if you transfer the property, there's some reason why that's happening. Now the urgency is not always the greatest because they did it. They're sophisticated enough to do it this way to keep it off the radar for a lot of people. However, I don't need all of them. I just need one yes.
That's
And
right.
so I guess we leave that way. And then other ways is on the city violation side. City violations of public notice. I have our VAs pull up the county recorder's notice, and they scrub it for equity, make sure at least 50% equity, and I create my own organic list of city violation leads.
Okay.
So that's one way to do lead source. And then I do a lot of relationship building. I mean, I got a lot of people reach out for me from the Facebook Live call, my live negotiation calls.
Yeah.
Me just responding in other, just answering questions, being helpful, being knowledgeable online.
Yeah.
Then in the fire damage space, I used to do these things called exclusive dinners. And what I'll do, I'll have so basically I'll have 4 board up company guys. I have 4 fencing companies, 4 insurance agents, 4 firefighters. I have different people, 4 at a time, come to my office, host dinner, and let them know that hey, we're not competitors, we're comrades, eagerly servicing the same community. If they don't want your board up job, if they don't want your fencing job, if they don't want your temporary housing job, you're already talking to my client. So instead of just throwing that lead away, refer them to me or pass information on to me. And if I can convert them into into opportunity, I'll pay you a consulting for creating an opportunity. So we're sharing the opportunities amongst each other. And that's how I get a lot of good fire damage leads too.
I never heard that. I like that. So how do you how often do you actually put on a dinner like that?
At least once a month. We try to do at least once a month. I mean, in the last couple of months, I've been slacking. I can't lie. I've been slacking the last couple of months. But usually we do like once a month, pay for a little caterer. And
Okay.
it costs $150, whatnot. Get some decent food so you look like you can afford to pay a referral fee. And then simply, I mean, the thing outside the box, let them know we're servicing the same community. Yes, like so. There's more than enough business for amongst all of us. Yes, these people aren't your. Yes, they're in the same industry with you. But yes, we utilize each other and refer each other in business. And if the clients can't utilize any of your services, most likely they can use mine.
Yeah, I like
because I mean, you take a girl out to dinner, she at least owes you at least a long hug at night or something. I mean, so you want to reciprocate it. You want to be able to bless them in front, take the loss up front, take the L up front to get the W on the back end.
That's right. I like that. Okay. Now, have you ever used any like bandit signs or like Facebook ads, SEO, anything like that?
So in the fire damage world, I could not break the SEO pay per click. I have not broke it just yet. I have not cracked that code yet. It's been very hard.
Yeah.
In the regular real estate space, we are doing some SEOing for the probate world.
Yeah.
My father, because he's a probate attorney.
Yep.
However, I mean, probably about 2 years ago, for like a solid 5 years, I was putting out 5,000 bandit signs a year. I was pumping them, and so I was getting
not playing games.
Deals. Yeah, I was getting good deals out of them, but the cost of getting them created, putting them out. When I looked at the deals, I was making more revenue for my cold calling and for my personal relationships, and those both essentially for free. So now I don't do mailers. I put out very few bandit signs. It's mostly personal relationships, online activity, and cold calling.
Okay. Now, when it comes to putting out bandit signs in the past, how often would you do that? And I mean, what would it say on it?
So a couple of different ones. So I was putting out roughly about 200 bandit signs a week.
Okay.
And I wasn't putting it myself. I leveraged my mind, not my hands. All right. Definitely not like that. I ain't doing none of that. I'm allergic to manual labor. All right. So I would so we'll put out, we pay cash, like so we do some of the same, we pay cash houses, but what I'll do is we'll put some, like, we buy fire damage properties, And so all the writings in black on a white background, chloroplast, black writing with a red house. So I
Okay.
read them make it pop a little bit. So I got some really good response from there. I put some of them in Spanish. My operation director is fully linguistics in Spanish and English.
Yeah.
We put some of those out. And then I just pictured in areas off the freeways, near Fry's, near Lowe's, where I want contractors, I want people got in over their heads. We put some out around where people did auctions, where
Yep.
people stuck with some properties. We put some around bail bondsmen's locations,
Yeah.
shops. So we're real strategic where we have them at, and then we just continuously put them out there week after week after week.
Consistency. I love it. And you did, you touched on something that I feel like is so important, especially when it comes down to somebody first starting off. When I just a couple years ago, until I really got into the full entrepreneur. I've always been an entrepreneur. I just didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was called. And then once I found out about mastermind groups and just expanding yourself, I just didn't know the power of building relationships. But it is so important. I just want to stress it out to any newbies out there that are getting started. Like there's this famous saying, your net worth is your network is your net worth.
Yep.
So it's so extremely important, because whoever could be, once they know what you do and you have that good relationship, that good rapport built with them, then the leads will start coming in and you guys can serve each other, and it's just a win-win for everybody. So I definitely want to encourage that, something that you touched on. Let's talk about your first deal. What did that look like?
Oh man, first deal. Definitely, I'm gonna talk about first. I just want to hit one more point on that relationship,
Please.
Because I think that's a very underrated commodity, especially starting out. You don't got a lot of money.
Yeah.
You don't even know if the shit's gonna, pardon me, the stuff's gonna work. Say you don't even know. You're not sure. So you're going to be more reluctant to put out a 10,000 mailer campaign or stop 15,000 on bandit signs. And so your relationship, right? What do you have right in your Rolodex? Look at the people. I mean, 7 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
I mean, so now I've put up my levels where my circle of influence, the character of people around me now, has completely changed from 5 years ago. Like my friends, old homies, stuff. We see each other. We talk to each other maybe once or twice a year now.
Yeah.
In the new circle, people are all about leveling up, and so really big piece of that is always when you're going into every new relationship, what's in it for them, and how can I help them meet their need? And if you operate and be willing, that's part of taking the L up front. I'm okay. When we go out to dinner, I'm getting the check first. You guys get the next one. Because by me saying to get someone, that's intending us having the next one together.
Yeah.
Hey, at least I'm willing to cover the check. So I'm not that broke. You know what I'm saying? But being willing to do that, you're creating that intrinsic value. People need food, water, and compliments. Give them out as much. I mean, be sincere with it. But I'm saying give them as many compliments as you can. I mean, the other thing about people are so bent on tearing each other down, on giving a sad face, a frown like, or I mean, these are what most people are bent around versus, hey, I'm eager looking for what can I do to compliment you? Well, that's a nice shirt, Brandon. You know that red brings up your eyes, buddy. He's like, oh, well, thank you. Well, I picked this up myself. So I highly recommend your circles that you have right now. Let people know what you want. This is what I'm looking to do. I'm looking to become a real estate investor. I'm just starting out. I'm eager to make phone calls, put an extra effort to get my first deal. I'm willing to give up a big piece of the pie to really increase my learning IQ.
Yeah.
And by approaching this, what I'm looking to do, what I'm able to do, I'm able to help chase down leads. I'll make phone calls. I'll drive for dollars. I'll get you lunch. I'll get you coffee. I'll wash your car. I'm going above and beyond. Let them know there's no ego here.
That's right.
I'd rather have results over rewards.
That's right.
Rewards without results.
Yeah.
So do want to share that with them? Be able to just give them some tangible, all right, how to go with the relationships I have now. What can I do to start cultivating those right now? Once a week, take one person out to lunch, one person out to coffee.
And when you stay consistent, and you know, at first you weren't actually doing the Facebook lives perhaps, but you know, once you get out there and start showing people what you're doing and you stay consistent doing it, then everybody knows. Like your circle of influence, they already know what you're doing. So you constantly reaching out to them, asking how I can serve you. They're already, you know, most people don't stay consistent. So when they see that you are being consistent, they're naturally going to look up to you anyway and give you the respect that you deserve. So it naturally creates that relationship of a win-win.
Yeah, one of my good mentors, Eric Thomas, E.T. the hip hop preacher, and he breaks it down. He says, people will respect you and pay you to do the things that they can't do. So, for instance, most guys can't be in Venezuela with a bunch of dined out, beautiful, attractive women and not lust, not cheat. You know what I'm saying? He can. Not a question to him. He understands his character and his values way more important than one night he could buy some pleasure. He wakes up at 3 a.m. for the last decade. You know what I'm saying? So he's waking up at 3 a.m. because it took him 12 years to get a 4-year degree. However, he's putting that extra effort. He controls the controllable. Because he could do that, other people respect that. Like, wow, I can't even do that. Therefore, I hold you to a whole level of respect. But he's saying, find little things you're able to do that other people won't do and watch you live life the way other people won't live.
Yeah. Yeah, man. ET is somebody that I definitely look up to. You got to hook that up one of these days.
For sure, man. For sure. He's the truth, man. Like I said, and you know what's crazy too? Kind of like what you're doing too. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you put out this energy, put out, hey, I want to empower others, I want to bless others, I want to use my platform to empower and give other people a chance to bring them to the world.
That's right.
That's powerful. That's good. I mean, that karma, that ripple effect you're creating, Brandon. This is good what you're doing, man. And the fact that you only been at this 3-4 years, I mean, so you're just now getting started, you know, so you're just now rolling up your sleeves. So I'm very excited to see what you're going to be able to do here in the near future.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you, brother. So let's talk about that first deal.
Yes, sorry, first deal. All right. Boom, first deal. All right, so first deal, now we're going back 13 years ago, back when they had trolleys and dinosaurs were here. So on the first deal, I was able to, I remember the very first deal I got paid on was I was working at a call center, and I was working for this ex-football player. My sister babysitted for him. My mom's from Trinidad. His wife was from Trinidad. I mean, he's an ex-football player now. This is like in 03, 04.
Okay.
So, and being in 03, 04, this made it where everybody out here in Arizona were making hundreds of thousands of dollars. The market was on fire. And so he would pay me $1,000. And we have to wake up at 5:30, 6 o'clock. We had to go and drive all the properties, and then I'll go to school, then I'll go to work on my lunch break. I'll go and make a bid for him, and then try to do this for like 3 months straight. 3 months straight. And so after it was like 3 months, I finally won one, and I was all exciting. And so he paid me $1,000, and at the time, $1,000, that was a lot of money to me. I'm like, what? I made $1,000. It's like 2 weeks in my regular call center. Oh, snaps! And so I just immersed myself. I'm reading books. This is before podcasts were big like that. So I'm reading articles. I'm getting the newspaper because I didn't know where to find leads. So I used to get the newspaper because everybody paid for ads to get for sale by owners.
Yeah.
Articles in there. And so that's why I get my leads. So I'll read through the leads and see if I can get any leads going. So fast forward, I got one of the sellers. Basically probably about like maybe a month after I got my first check with him. Remember, I went 4 months religiously every day. Finally get one check, month later, go to the house, I see his Range Rover outside, knock on the door, no answer. Call him, no answer. Email, no answer. Gives me the ex-girlfriend treatment, bro. I was hurt. I was like, whoa, why are you doing this to me? Well, a little unbeknownst to me, his wife, the older Trinidadian, didn't like the younger Trinidadian being around anymore, so my sister got fired. So therefore, I got fired too. I'm like, why are you gonna fire me? We ain't gonna hook up, man. Like, come on, why ain't gonna get fired, man? So I got the stiff arm treatment. And so you have to understand, like, I mean, I'm young. I had people tell me you can't do real estate. At the time, I had braids, so like, nobody's gonna trust. You're not gonna buy the house. I think you're gonna rob the house. What are you talking about? And so I'm like, oh man, maybe what these people say was right. I didn't want to get out of bed. I'm all depressed. I'm like, oh my goodness. This is what I was gonna do with my life. I'm like, this could be like ground changing. And then I realized, like, why am I letting one person change the trajectory of my life? So, like, everybody down at the auction, they didn't know how green I was. All they knew that I won one time. I had the money to pay for it, and I got the property from them. So I went back down to the auction, and I paid this one guy, John Ray. I took him out to lunch. He taught me how to comp a property.
Okay.
So once I learned how to comp property, so I started making. He's like, if you get any deals, call me. I'm like, cool. So I make phone calls. Making phone calls through those 4 sell-by owners. Finally get this one, like probably like 2 months later. 2 months later, I get this lady, and she's in East Valley. Husband passed away. She wants to sell the property. Has like an age restriction in her ear, so I didn't know if I could even buy it, being like not 55 years old. So I called my investor, like, yeah, I think I got this deal. I think she wants to sell the property. What do you think we could do? So I hear him type it away. He's like, yeah, this deal works. Yeah, I'll do it. How much do you want to make? So I'm about to say $1,000 because that's all I've been paid before.
Yeah.
But remember, I'm 50% Jewish, all right? So so my yarmulke get tilted, like, don't do it, Elijah. So I added another zero to it. So I think $10,000.
Okay.
And I was just quiet because I did enough sales. No, whoever talks first loses.
Right. That's right. I tell so many people that they don't understand it. I'm glad you bring it up.
Yeah, let the silence kill him. Let the silence answer him. So I was quiet. It was only probably like maybe a minute and a half. Felt like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, oh my goodness, he's going to hang up on me. He's like, you greedy so-and-so, click. I thought it was going to happen. So I was just quiet. I just was quiet. And then they end up being, I talked, so he ends up saying, all right, yeah, Elijah, all right, cool. 10,000 done. Like, I'm like, 10,000 done. What do I got to do to earn? Like, what I got to do? Do I got to put some overalls and meet you there with a bucket of paint? Or I need to rip up the carpet? What I got to do? He's like, no, like, there's nothing. You did everything you need to do in 2 weeks. You have your check in the title company. So, fast forward, I go 2 weeks later, just like he said, he's like, the check's ready. I go down, pick up the check. I go and get the check, and I look at the check, and like, this is the first time I ever see a check of this big size with my name on it.
Yeah.
$1,000, like, holy crap. So I'm driving my white 1997 Toyota Camry. I'm driving to the bank to cash this bad boy. Then I get to the stop sign. Who do I see to my right? Sheriff Joe Arpaio and the chain gang, right? And so one guy is picking up trash. Remember, this is the summer of Arizona, so it's like 129 degrees outside. So one guy, he has braids too. He's picking up trash. Him and I lock eyes. I'm like, why am I locking eyes with this dude, this inmate on the side? Like, why is this happening? Like, turn green, hurry up, turn green, super awkward. So he's sweating, I'm sweating, but I got the AC on me. I'm like, why am I sweating? Like, I'm tripping. So I'm driving, and within 30 seconds of me driving, boom, it hits me. I'm going to go to jail. This is fraud. That was the Lord telling me that if I cash this check, I'm going to be like that guy in the chain gang, and I'm going to go to jail if I cash this check. So because of the bad programming I had at that time, I make a U-turn, and I don't cash that check. For 30 days, I don't cash it. I'm like, this has to be fraud. It has to be illegal. I work 4 hours. I'm a black man with no college education. I work 4 hours. I'm going to get $10,000. Yeah, take this check. I'm like, there's no way this could be real. It can't happen. My bad programming. So 30 days later, I'm like, hey, it's time to pay rent or be on the streets. So we got to see what's up with this check. And I thought it through. The title company gave me this check. So, and they have more money than I do. So they had to be caught up in the fraud too. So they have to have attorneys. They have to represent me too. That's my logic at the time to cash the check, right?
Okay.
So I go in there and cash the check. So I go in there, I take my check in there. And right when I walk in, I see you got the security guards inside. I'm like, I was about to run out there first. I'm like, no, relax. The insurance company, they got attorneys. The title company have the attorneys. So I give the teller my check. She does one of these on me, like, this is the biggest check you ever had, huh? I'm like, yeah. So she's like, hold on a second, I gotta go and talk to the manager. I want to tell him, no, don't go to the manager. So the manager comes back. He's like, Mr. Rubin. And my heart stopped for a second. I didn't know if it was gonna go really bad or really good. And Mr. Rubin, you know you're doing fraud, right? I thought that's what he was gonna say something. Like, Mr. Rubin, how would you like your money? Oh, my heart, like, oh my goodness, like, I want 10 stacks of dollar bill. I want 1,000 stacks, 10 of them. I want the money envelope. I'm gonna put the money in. So I put the money in, boom, take all 10 money envelopes. I drop one and pick one up. I get to my car. I get in my car, I put the 10 stacks in the front seat, I put the seatbelt over it, I put the air conditioner on it 'cause I don't want it to melt with sweat. And I remember, Brandon, turning the music up as I start slamming my driving wheel. The sense of accomplishment, the sense of freedom, the sense of that I will never have to work for somebody again. The liberation feel. I felt chains being broken off me. I will never have to worry about my family. Will never have to work again. I'm gonna retire my family, my sister, my cousins. They won't have to worry about struggling ever again because I'm able to turn a conversation into a cashier's check out of thin air. If I can do this once, I can do it 100 more times.
I love it.
That's my first deal.
That's good, man. I love it. That's a powerful story. I really love that.
Yeah, I almost talked myself out of cash now. I almost got rid of the check thinking I was going to go to jail.
That's hilarious. So when it comes down to, some learning curves over the past years, all these transactions that you've been a part of, I mean, there's got to be some learning curve somewhere in there.
Lots of them. Yeah. I only did a couple of years of actual real college, but I got my PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. All right. Oh man, okay. I learned. There's so many lessons. I mean, one of the first big lessons I learned is, especially starting out, you don't need partners. You don't need partners. All right. I thought I needed partners. I'm not the most organized person in the world, and I don't want to drive for dollars for hours and knock on doors by myself. So I want some friends. My grandfather gave me a good piece of advice. Go ahead.
Do you recommend, though, for somebody first starting out, if they don't have necessarily the education, like you went to the auction and you got schooled a little bit by doing the smart move, by taking somebody out that was experienced to lunch or coffee and picking their brain, getting them to give you a little bit of tools to be able to get
relationships, build knowledge, partner up on deals, partner up on marketing, but don't have business partners.
Don't have business partners. Okay.
You don't need business partners because my grandfather, my Jewish grandfather, gave me a really good piece of advice because one of my first business partners, him and I we went to elementary school together.
Yeah.
He's a Jewish guy too, so him and I used to sew candy together. We used to fix lead pencils, so I knew he's a hustler from way back then. However, we lost contact and we reconnected when I got into real estate again, like 10 years later. But he was addicted to Oxycontin and Suboxone and all these pills. And I thought he was rid of all this. Yeah. And then I'm like, hey, take a drug test, or else we're not partners anymore. And so he's like, no, he's like, screw you. And next thing you know it, I come to the office, lights shut off. You sold $15,000 of our bank account. You took the security deposit, like almost crumpled me during that time. And my grandfather gave me a good piece of advice. Like two pieces of advice. He said, one, you never blame the snake for biting you. It's your fault for petting the snake. What do you think it's going to do? All right. So you don't want to get bit. Don't be biting snakes. You hear them slithering a mile away. So that's the first part. Two, he said, if you want to have a business partner, make sure they have more knowledge, more relationships, more experience, and more money than you. If they don't have one of those, that's just a friend. And if you want a friend, get a dog. They're more loyal and they don't talk back.
Grandfather's a smart man.
Absolutely. You put me on the great knowledge and put me on it. I just didn't understand. I just thought I always thought I need a comfort blanket. I need somebody to talk to. I need somebody to question through these thoughts. Pay a mentor a flat fee, $1,000 a month to mentor you and talk to your thoughts, where you don't have to give them 50% of your profits. Yeah. Because that definitely sets me back for sure.
So as far as real estate goes, I know you're definitely a self, you're very big into self-development and mentorship coaches. Who do you use do you have a real estate kind of mentor or coach that you look up to?
Absolutely. And that's another good part. Be humble, be willing to serve. Attitude of servitude will get you very far. Yes. Be willing to serve your way. That's one thing I learned from E.T. Serve your way to the top.
Yeah, serving leadership. That's good.
Certain leadership. I mean, Greg Reed, he gives out his real phone number. He's like, how can I serve you? Like, you're a millionaire, bro. What are you talking about? I should be asking you, how can I serve you? You're talking about, and sending real context, connecting immediately with people.
Me too. Outrageous. Like top of the line, like multi-millionaires that he's connected with. I'm like,
wow. Yeah. And easily. So because I do deals and I had an attitude of servitude, and I was always eager to serve, and if I wanted to do to add value, I was I definitely have a slew of real estate investors I get mentor coaching with, I connect with, I run ideas, concepts over there. I try to make sure I had deals for them, so I
Yeah.
have something in exchange for them. So I'm really big into mutualism. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm never going to go into a relationship or a favor with an empty red cup. Like, hey, can you pour my cup up?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I got a bag of ice. I have no cups, but I have a bag of ice. Sweet spice. So I'm always going to find something to bring to the table.
Okay.
And because of that, they know it's never just going to be BS. All right, what does he want to take from me this time?
Yeah, yeah. It's not a one-way relationship here. It's two-way. I like that.
Yeah, and I think if you kind of find ways, I call it evergreen knowledge.
Okay.
And evergreen knowledge is something I can take from me and I can pass it on to you, and you can take that information and pass it to somebody else, and somebody gets value and gives you appreciation, thanks based off the information you shared with them, and it keeps happening. So that evergreen knowledge is what I really look for, and once I start realizing is the impact you have in others. I mean, it's one thing to have, and this is what ET broke down, and it gave me chills the first time I heard it. Having success is important for your pockets. You need success. We all need to be successful. We need to pay bills. We don't want to worry about the lights getting shut off, and that's important to have.
Yeah.
But there's a higher level than success. And the next level of success, it being significant. Being significant to people, meaning that other people will suffer if you didn't exist. Mother Teresa, Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, these people, the world would have been a worse place. People will suffer if they didn't exist.
Yeah.
And you think about it, they're not the richest people. But they're rich with relationships. So if Jesus, if somebody like Jesus didn't have silk shirts, but if you need a shirt, people take it right off the shirt, right off the back, and give it to you.
Yeah.
Because impact and value created consistently without ever asking for anything.
That's right.
That's the type of wealth I want to create.
Okay. So what kind of deals are you working on right now?
So some deals I'm working on right now, doing, like I said, doing more city violations, doing more land deals, get into more land developments, because I really wanted to start doing bigger six-figure check deals.
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 deals. Happy for those, but I want to do more wealth creation, because after doing 750 deals, I don't want to do another 150 more deals.
Yeah.
I'd rather do a third of the deals and make double the money.
Of course. Yeah.
Right, but I didn't understand. I didn't have that shift. I always thought I could work harder, just work harder, and do more deals, and that's cool to have if you don't have anything.
Yeah.
I'd rather work smarter and then work harder, be more efficient with it. So right now I have a 2.3 acre land development deal that's C3 zoned. 2 years ago, I had it locked up for like $750,000. Well, calling through cash buyers, I was able to get it back down to around $590,000.
Okay.
And so now I'm getting some of these. So I'm just setting up. So I'm teeing up some deals and building up my relationship with builders and developers, because I have the ability to go and get these deals out the mud. I don't need anybody. I'll go and get it out myself and bring some value to the table. And I had one of them. I was telling you about the guys in the Dominican Republic who I do a mastermind with.
Yes.
One of my guys, he had one deal he did. It's a land development. Now, he's in North Carolina. He got this deal for, the lady wanted $200,000. He got it for $100,000. Negotiated it down. 2 acres. He sends he takes about $50,000 and gets some new basically engineering done, and as well as getting some architectural plans done and permits done to build 16 units on there. And so he changed the zoning of it, gets the permits built in for place, and he's just gonna put on the market for $200,000, try to make 30, 40 grand back. Well, he's part of this group called Collective Genius, and that's where you pay like $25,000 a year, and you go to like once a quarter, and you're around about nothing but pleasure, doing nothing but 6-figure plus deals.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? No, listen for $200,000. Listen for $400,000. So he listens to him, listens for $400,000. 3 months later, gets a builder to pay him $375,000. Pays off his note, clears $160,000 check in one deal without building it, all in one deal.
Woo.
So those deals and that's very commonly being done.
Yeah, that's out there. Okay.
It's out there.
So you want to start getting into that area. Okay.
So those are the deals I'm working on. I'm working my way to doing that and buy and holds, just so I can build up my cash flow. Because if the rule of thumb is you want to do kind of what you're doing, you're thinking wealth creation. You're not just thinking transactions. You're thinking wealth creation. And because the rule of thumb, you want to keep 10% of all the deals you do.
Yeah.
And so if I had 75 homes right now, we'll be doing this conversation on my island somewhere. All right.
Yeah, get that mailbox money. Okay, nice. So, really quickly, because we are running out of time a little bit, but I do want to talk about when it comes down to financing some of your deals. You know, you're just being the middleman in between, and like how do you structure that?
Sure. So a couple of different ways you can do it. Certain deals, I'll just assign my contract and just make cash directly from there.
Okay.
So that's about my rule of thumb. Anytime I make over $10,000, I always do a double close.
Yeah.
Just because I literally have people get up and walk out of escrow, like see how much money you count, how much money you're making, and that's so much. Although their number was okay until they saw how much you're making, then it's not okay. And so I always do a double close. And so those ones, I have private relationship. Being half Jewish, I have access to a lot of capital, and so and because I have a good track record, I'm good money, and so I don't lose money on deals. And so a lot of times I'll pair the end buyer up with the hard money, and so I have the deal and the hard money. I let them know, hey, put 30% down, what your cash on cash return will look like. So I'll pair some of the hard money for them. A lot of times I'll bring in money partners to JV with me on deals.
Okay.
Other times I'll use my own cash if I have to. And other times I'll do seller financing where I'll come in with 5% down, 5% interest on a 5-year balloon, 5, 5, and 5, and be able to pick up deals that way too.
Okay, nice. So, I mean, what does the future hold for you?
So the future holds for me, I'm really excited. I'm working on this master closing course right now. Okay. Because I got a lot of people from my consistent closing group on Facebook Live who's really liking the live negotiation calls I do on 5:30 on Mondays and Wednesdays. And so they're telling me about this. So I'm taking a lot of knowledge I acquired over 20 years, and I'm creating this course where people are able to not only build rapport, build relationships, close, walk through the sequences, use some of my closing techniques, use some of my embedded commands, use some of the things I've used that made me success, that they're able to do this themselves, take a test, and give them that information. So we're still a couple months away from releasing it, but we're putting it out there.
Woo, that's good, man. That's exciting. You also have an ebook out as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and all of Brandon's viewers here on the podcast, if you guys are, that's my free gift. I have it on Amazon for $50. However, if you guys go to my Facebook group, Consistent in Closing, you put in the about section, you put your email in there, you get my pre-call affirmations. I do these pre-calls before I get on the calls. I have my affirmations, as well as my ebook, Mastering the Art of the No, how to navigate through six no's without flinching.
Oh, I love it, man. That's great. Yeah, so we'll put it in the links as well for the show notes, just so they can get easy access to that. But how can people reach out to you?
Sure. So by all means, you guys can always reach out to me on my on my public page is Elijah I. Rubin on Facebook, Elijah on regular Facebook. You go to the group Consistently Closing on Instagram is Rubin Elijah. And you guys email me if you guys want to reach out to me. You can email me directly. My email address, and I'll also put it in the link too for him. Is Elijah ELIJAH at WIIN WIIN. So that's 2 I's, 1 N. WIIN LLC.com. Elijah at WIINLLC.com. And you can email me directly.
Woo, I love it. Cool. So do you have any final words that you would kind of give out to any newbie out there that's just getting started or, trying to get to that next level in real estate?
For sure. Really big, you get what you give. There's no shortcuts. Like I said, I wake up at 4:30. Religiously, I'm at the gym at 5 a.m. But I don't make it into the office until 9 because I'm building on myself. I'm building on I'm putting in tremendous work on my personal development. Do my affirmations, do my visualizations, do my breathing. I'm building on me because I know if I pour into me now, I'm gonna have so much more to pour into others.
I love it.
I really just think that you get what you give, and understand if you shortchange it, it's gonna show.
That's right. Yeah. That self development and you time is so important. And from my personal experience, anytime that you truly need something, whatever that something may be, just, whatever you have, just go out and give it. And I'm telling you, the karma, it always comes back tenfold. So, that mentality right there, to have to give and give, then it always comes back. And
It does.
It's something serious to recognize and really get out there and practice it. So
yeah.
Cool.
And one last thing, I think one last thing, mind what you put in your brain. Right now, I mean, what's it like in the morning? I don't like right when I wake up. I start rattling off of everything I could possibly be grateful for. I mean, I'm rattling off as many things my mind can think before I even touch my phone. If I look at Facebook, if I find out what alerts came in, I'm just make sure, because that's going to shock my attitude. Even if I even woke up negative, it's impossible to be negative being grateful for everything you've got.
That's right.
And then feed yourself with a mental deposit. Listen to E.T., listen to John C. Maxwell's, listen to Jim Rohn's, Les Brown's. Feed your mind, and don't let a bunch of, don't feed it with the garbage that you hear on the radio. Don't get me wrong. I like to listen to my ratchet music from time to time too. All right, I'm not you, and I'm great. However, make sure you spend the majority of your time, especially in the morning when you're at peak state, because what we feed ourselves is going to show up in our life. So guard your mind is I will highly recommend.
That's right. Cool. Well, thank you so much. I mean, it means the world, Elijah. Seriously, you taking some time out to really give back and help out others out there. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. And thanks for the opportunity, Brandon. Anyway, I can be a blessing to you or any of your viewers. Hey, each one teach one, each one reach one. She got Elijah.
Hey, so how can we actually give back and help serve you, add value to you by any means?
Just let people know about the Consistent Closing Group. Let people know about the ebook. Let people know what the Master Closing Course. If they get deals in Arizona they need help with, make sure to reach out to me. And then let's grab a drink when you're in a Secret Knock in March.
That's right. Yeah, I'm excited for it, man. It's gonna be big. Yeah, guys. Seriously, if you guys are listening to this, seriously, from my personal experience of hearing Elijah on these closings and being consistent, he is a man of his word, and he's got some serious sales techniques that, will definitely take your level in business to the next. So it's something to be reckoned with, and you got to check it out. But we'll put your information in the show notes. Guys, if you want to reach me, it's Brandon Elliott. You can reach me at BrandonElliottInvestments.com. You can email me at BrandonElliottInvestments@gmail.com. And yeah, this has been Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast. Till next time, guys, thank you so much for joining. If you could leave a review, a comment, click like, love it, throw it, share it to all your friends and family, anybody out there that is interested in real estate investing to help cut their learning curve in half. Get it out there, guys. I appreciate you all. Till next time, God bless.
This has been another episode of Ready, Set, Go Real Estate Investing Podcast, brought to you by Brandon Elliott. For more information, please visit BrandonElliottInvestments.com. Also, please don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment below. Thanks again for joining. Until next time, God bless.